Good Saturday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, I will be tracking a series of storm systems bringing mountain snow, flooding rainfall across the Tennessee and Ohio river valleys, as well as a rare storm system to finish off the month of December towards the end of this forecast. If you guys are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below, everyone, and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. I cover Canada, the United States, and the tropics on this channel and everything in between, so definitely hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Starting off this morning, we have the 48-hour snowfall accumulation analysis here. We definitely have a lot of snowfall that did fall over the last 1 to 2 days, over the past 48 hours here across the Pacific Northwest and across the Sierra Nevadas here into California as well, dropping feet of snowfall. And as we go through this weekend, we have another storm system starting to move into the west coast, and that is going to be bringing more appreciable rainfall here to the lower elevations of California, getting into the lower elevations of the Pacific Northwest. But in those upper elevations here where it's a little bit colder, we're going to start to see more of that heavier snowfall start to fly across the Sierra Nevadas and getting up here into portions of Oregon and Washington State as we go into this weekend. That really continues into a big way here across portions, again, of the Sierra Nevadas, into much of Oregon State, southern Washington State, getting into Idaho, northern Nevada, northwestern portions of Utah as we get into the day on your Sunday here tomorrow, and that will continue potentially even into the day on Monday as well. So several days in a row of some heavier snowfall, some heavier rainfall as well across those lower elevations. We'll be adding on to the totals across those areas here that we did see the past 48 hours, and due to that, we do have a trough digging into the Pacific Northwest just off the west coast as we head into the Saturday evening time frame here. This is your evening time frame here. And you can see that low pressure system just off the west coast. We got lots of cold air across Canada here locked in place across portions of Manitoba, Quebec, and Ontario, Canada here. And then all that warmer air to the south across the southern United States. But as we go here into early next week on your Monday, we're going to see all this kind of join in together with a lot of cold air up in Canada and this low pressure system starting to move into the Pacific Northwest. And finally here bringing a lot of mountain snowfall across those areas even as we head into early next week. So looking here at your temperatures this afternoon, these are your high temperatures here. We got lots of cold air across southern Canada here, from British Columbia to Alberta to Saskatchewan, all the way over here into Ontario and Manitoba. Temperatures will be near zero, if not below zero, for your high temperatures this afternoon. But into the United States, we still have those very cold temperatures up into the northern plains, the upper Midwest, highs in the teens and even single digits, especially up into northern Minnesota and North Dakota. And again, across the Pacific Northwest, where we have those colder temperatures this weekend, especially this afternoon, as that storm system moves in, we're going to be seeing some heavier snowfall across the upper elevations here of the Pacific Northwest. That will continue into your Sunday here with a lot of those teens and 20s here in those higher elevations across portions of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, getting back here across Utah, and then into the Sierra Nevadas as well in those higher elevations. Looking at the snowfall amounts here, the 10-to-1 ratio going all the way through early next week here on your Tuesday morning. Feet of snowfall is on the way across the Sierra Nevadas here across eastern California. We could be talking about 2, 3, even 4 feet worth of snowfall across this area going through the next several days into early next week. And even up here into the Pacific Northwest here into much of Washington, Oregon State, northern California, getting over here to Idaho, northwestern portions there of Nevada, and then getting over here into northern Utah as well, especially in those higher elevations. We're going to be seeing several inches of snowfall, even some snowfall potentially getting down toward Portland, Oregon, and even to the Seattle, Washington area into those lower elevations as well. We could see maybe some grassy surfaces of 1 to 2 inches of snowfall accumulation there as we go through the next couple of days. But as we go here into early next week, we're going to be watching that same storm system here with that subtropical jet starting to really push across the southern and central United States, setting up a boundary here across the Tennessee and Ohio river valley starting on your Monday. That will continue into Tuesday and even on Wednesday as well, as that subtropical jet gets very active across portions here of the Four Corners through Texas and through much of the Missouri, Ohio, and Tennessee river valleys, especially as we get into Wednesday, December 7th here toward the middle of this next week. And looking here again, we have all all that cold air to the north. That polar vortex is going to remain locked in place across central Canada, so we don't have to worry about too much of that cold air moving into the United States unless you're in the upper Midwest or the northern plains. We're going to see liquid precipitation across these areas from Texas all the way over to the Tennessee and Ohio River Valley, so not a big snow system, but a lot of rainfall. And you can see as we get into Monday, starting off your week here on Monday, December 5th, a lot of warm air across the southern and central plains here getting into the southeast. Temperatures will be in the 50s, 60s, even some 70s down here into Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. But up to the north, we got all that cold air across Montana, getting into the Dakotas and Minnesota. That will continue as we head into Tuesday. These are high temperatures, even into the teens and 20s up here into portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then single-digit highs into northern Minnesota and up to North Dakota and even farther north, below zero high temperatures there with that polar vortex into Canada. But looking to the south, we got that temperature battle zone here in play with a lot of 70s and 60s down here across the Tennessee, Ohio River Valley, getting back here to the west across Texas. And that really even continues as we head into Wednesday, December 7th as well, with all that cold air across the upper Midwest, the northern plains, as well as southern Canada. But then again, we have that temperature battle zone here across the United States where we have the warmer air to the south and the colder air to the north, and right in between, that's where we're going to see that stationary boundary set up with some very heavy rainfall here from northeast Texas into southeastern Oklahoma, especially getting into Arkansas, the Tennessee and Ohio River valleys, and maybe even extending up at times here into the northeast as well with that stationary boundary. So kind of looking at the setup with this and how we see this happen. Again, we have that stationary boundary, and it is what it means. It's not going to be moving very far north or south. It's kind of be stationary across this area for several days. We got that strong subtropical jet bringing the upper level wind support. We definitely have that strong low level jet feeding in the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico into this system along the front. And yeah, you can definitely see those precipitable water values here. These anomalies in the greens and even the blues starting to show up into West Texas will be traveling east-northeast bound here as we head into early and middle portion of the week, and we're 2 to 3 if not 4 standard deviations above climatology, and that really takes place as we get towards that Wednesday, December 7th time frame, really across northeast Texas, southeastern Oklahoma into Arkansas, Tennessee, and even Kentucky as well. So that will be something to keep an eye on. Here's some of the rainfall amounts here, what the European high resolution guidance is showing. Definitely a very accurate model, and you can definitely see a lot of reds and peach shaded colors here, orange shaded colors on this map, and you could definitely see 3, 4, even 5 inches worth of rainfall here across a broad area here across Arkansas, much of the state of Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, getting into portions there of Kentucky. And kind of a closer view at this, yeah, look at most of the state of Tennessee could be seeing at least 3 inches of rain, if not locally higher than that. And again, that will extend into portions of Kentucky and then back into northern Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and to portions there of northern Alabama and farther off to the east toward the mid-Atlantic as well. The good news here is that we're in a drought. So again, the drought will be alleviated by this rainfall. So that is the good news here. The drought will definitely be starting to get erased across this area. We're in a moderate and severe drought, even a little pocket here in a far southern Illinois toward the Paducah, Kentucky area of actually a extreme drought. So that is some good news. We're going to start to see the rainfall, but we don't need it all at once. So that is something we'll continue to watch. But looking here at the U.S. monthly drought outlook here, and you can see going through the month of December with all these heavier rain events taking place in these areas, it does look likely that the drought will actually be removed, if not lessen, across the area. So it will be removed, if not improve, across a lot of these areas going through the month of December through the next couple of weeks. Going toward the end of December, things start to get a little bit more interesting here, especially as we get into that third week in December, just before the Christmas time frame. We're going to see a lot of that cold air start to move its way farther to the south across the Pacific Northwest into the northern plains, and then even sneaking over here into the Ohio River Valley and the mid-Atlantic. We got some of that warmer air across Texas, especially South Texas, over across the immediate Gulf Coast as we head into that December 10th through December 16th time frame, again a week before Christmas. And we also have a signal for above average precipitation across a lot of those areas with those cold colder temperatures. So you put 2 and 2 together, you got the colder air and those above normal precipitation anomalies, and you likely will see in the form of snowfall as we get in towards that time frame between December 10th and December 16th. So let's kind of break this down for you here. You got the polar vortex up to the north across portions of north central Canada and to eastern Alaska. This will be in place across this area as we get into December 10th and 11th time frame. We got all the warmer air across the southern and central United States. But as we get into that second week here in December, we got another push, another disruption of that polar vortex here all the way down to the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, and much of east central Canada. So if you live in Canada here into portions of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Quebec, or Ontario, yes, you're going to be in the heart of that polar vortex. And then some pieces of this will actually travel as far south as Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and much of the Midwest here in the Ohio Valley during this period. That will be on December 12th and 13th. And again, we could have a low pressure system here kind of in the mix as well, with possibly a stronger 995 or 990 millibar low pressure center somewhere up into the Great Lakes region. And on the northwest side of the system, we could have enough cold air to bring in here for some snowfall, especially up into Minnesota, western Wisconsin, extending back down potentially into northwestern Iowa during this period. Right now, the European forecast guidance is showing maybe a few inches of snow, especially across central and northeast Wisconsin, getting back into Minnesota here. The GFS in similarity to this is a little farther to the west across the Dakotas, northwestern Nebraska, getting into Minnesota. So nevertheless, the systems are trending a little bit stronger with these the GFS and the European forecast guidance, and starting to see trends that this system will occur as we get towards the middle of December. But as we get toward that third week in December, just a week before Christmas time, the jet stream really potentially could take a dive as far south as Southern California, if not northern Mexico, and this would be a pretty significant dive to the south here, as that subtropical jet will take over across much of Texas and then moving up into the Ohio Valley. And usually with such a sharp dive to the south with these jet streams here, especially with that subtropical jet, that does spell the potential for a significant snowstorm as we get towards the middle and end of December. So we'll continue to have to watch this here, because on the left exit region here of this 200 millibar upper level and mid-level jet, we could actually see a low pressure center form somewhere in the panhandle of Texas or Oklahoma and travel up through the Missouri Valley and into the Ohio Valley, potentially into that third week in December. So that will be something to watch. Again, we have that very erratic jet stream with the polar vortex here. That will be coming back. And looking here at the AO, this is the Arctic oscillation, and you can see the values do go negative. So we're going to be pulling down that cold air with negative values all the way potentially down near -5, maybe even -6 here potentially at the strongest as we get into that third week here in December. And that does promise a lot of colder air from the polar vortex here, disrupting all the way south potentially to the Texas Panhandle, into western Oklahoma, northern New Mexico as we head in towards that 17th and 18th time frame of December. And it really takes a dive with that jet stream all the way south into portions of northern Mexico here into the Rio Grande Valley as we head into that December 19th and 20th time frame, potentially with this polar vortex centered across the upper Great Lakes and southeastern Canada, bringing those below normal temperatures, probably 20 to 30 degrees below zero or colder across these areas as we get into that third week here in December. And that is confirmed by the Climate Prediction Center's week 3 and 4 temperature outlook here from December 17th through the 30th time frame to close out the month of December. We're going to be talking about below normal temperatures possible, if not likely, across much of the north central United States, and that could even bleed farther south than this does show. And definitely we'll start to kind of look at the weather pattern that could favor the potential for stronger snowstorms on that jet stream as it pushes farther to the south, and that polar vortex as well. And we could be seeing some heavier snows originating into northwest Texas, maybe into the upper elevations there of New Mexico, and then moving up here through the Missouri Valley, into the Illinois Valley, the Ohio Valley as well, and into the Great Lakes. So we'll continue to watch this pattern as we get towards the end of December, but I did want to bring that up to kind of show you that if you're a snow lover out there, yes, we definitely could be seeing some heavier snowfall to close out the month of December here, and potentially some white Christmases for you guys as well as we get a little bit closer. support. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely appreciate it. If you liked the video, definitely press the thumbs up button. It helps down below, as well as leave any comments, questions, and concerns. I'll get to those later on today. And most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks to all the new subscribers out there. I definitely appreciate it. Hit the notification bell as well to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great weekend, everybody. A great Saturday, and I'll see you all in the next video.